Okay, short and sweet, toot sweet. I'm vol3. Since we're putting this on YouTube, and because I don't expect the algorithm to do all the work for me. I have to keep putting up videos up there until one of these gets a big hit, and then they pay me because I deserve to be paid as an artist and as a creator and as a good Christian, frankly. There's a lot of people higher up in the media that are not Christian and don't believe that Christians should have their peace. And I stand against them because, frankly, the whole world stands against you. And we don't have time for your bullshit because the tables will be flipped every single time you seek power. This is just the age-old story of every religious text that when you seek power and you seek revenge, you better dig two graves. One for the person that you seek revenge against and yourself. This is pretty obvious. All the idioms and all of the turns of phrase, which are part and parcel, part of the oral tradition, but the meanings of these phrases get lost with the cultural contexts. Because not everything gets written down. Not everyone was literate for the longest period in time throughout history, and there's many places in the world where people are not literate either. So all communication is through the language or body language, and here I am, and that's the currency is stories. I sold it for a song, so to speak, or in fair trade. And I sit here, in the Kelowna Flightcraft hoodie whom I had an association with. I do not currently have an association with, I must say, with either of these companies, although I've worked for them in the past. That I've been a contractor, an independent contractor, and an independent business owner for close to 10 years, and I didn't want to become one. I wanted to have the most and greatest depth of experience possible, because I saw, and as I said in other videos, I know everybody doesn't watch these things. They only watch one, or they only get through a couple of minutes. It shows straight through the analytics that not everyone's paying attention because of the amount of information that's out there and the amount of the wealth of misinformation that's out there by people trying to manipulate the very system which has been created for them, for a power over the unintelligent. And they believe that we need to manipulate other people in order to negatively manipulate other people in order to have any kind of worth, or to have power, or to have a destiny, so to speak. If you want to go by the American terminology, a manifested destiny. But there's people out there that have been laying the foundation for free and open society, for which all people are equal for years. Freedom of opportunity, but not equal, and so not freedom. Freedom is equal opportunity, but not equality of outcome, because not everyone is created equal. That's just the fact of the matter. Not everyone has the same capacities. Not everyone has the same intelligences, and we should allow the intelligent and the talented to rise to the top, because we deserve that. We are far more powerful than we think we are, and we have far greater strength than those who hold the means of production, so to speak, right? Or have the finances by the balls. Like, if you want to go by worldwide implication, that means so these organizations like the UN, the IMF, and the World Bank, and their supporters. So if you more conspiratorial, Bilderberg Group, the Davos Group, all of these planning think tanks, and these secret societies, even, or occultist organizations, and they flaunt it out in the open, and they use the disabled and the disadvantaged as their soldiers, and they use gay people and transgender people as their soldiers of change, because this is how it works. This is exactly how it works. The best example, if I haven't mentioned this before, is when say, was it Tiger Joe, goes to the gas station, asks the lady, "Hey, do you want to work? You want to work with tigers?" And she says yes because she doesn't have any other better options, right? And then the person gets paid shit. This is no offense to Tiger Joe. I don't know you. I just know you through the media. So who am I to criticize you? That it's probably a mispronunciation. Tiger Joe. That's hilarious. Uh, anyways, you know, again, having experienced been an involuntary participant in human trafficking and more or less having to continue along with it because there wasn't any other solution at the time, and the money wasn't worth it for being an employee because the wages don't catch up with the inflation, and we've not done away with this debt driven society, and we've not done away with this leveraging and this too big to fail mentality that's persisted since 2008, if not before, in which props up monopolies and racketeering and collusion amongst industries, price setting, and so on and so forth, and worldwide globalization, in which the amount of effort and resources it takes to produce a single strand of thread is 5 times more than what it was 100 years ago, which is completely and utterly fucking stupid. There's a lot of things in the world that require resources and networks across the world, but the thing is that nature is not the internet. Mycelium is the internet of nature, and if you're going to consider ourselves trees and to be planted and to be rooted and to be grounded with the earth in harmonious nature, then there obviously is something that has to change. We can't keep doing this this fucking religious hierarchy. There's people out there that think through their arrogance, and because, well, frankly, they're inbred and they're not that smart, that they deserve more than others. Their entitlement means they're either the historical inheritance or through religion, their prophecies, that they deserve more than other people. But frankly, this isn't the truth. And then there's other religions that just don't give a shit because they're just like, well, life is suffering, we're not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to get involved in someone else's bullshit. They'll come back as a lower life form. It's all entirely up to them. But we have to do our best to not to force other people to water, even not even suggest, but by our own examples, by their own self, be true. These principles have lasted and have persisted throughout history, at least Northern European, European history and North American history for hundreds of years, thousands of years in Europe. And the ebb and flow of civilizations have gone along with them. And every time that something happens, it's because the erosion and the degeneracy that comes from seeking too much power and too much territory. And I think of Pinky and the Brain when I look at these worldwide governments, and they're like, we want to instate, a surveillance state upon the entire world, and want a dragnet and tracking of every single person, and want to assign a value to every single one of them. So that they're a number and they're not a person, like a prison number or a tattoo when entering Auschwitz. We ain't got time for this stuff anymore. We have a decentralized existence now in this post-internet epoch. That a lot of people don't even need to have jobs, and while I'm resistant to universal income, there is going to be a point at which people will and do need some sense, and there's some figure of welfare, some degree of socialism, but not too much, right? We can't have too much of it, otherwise we get communism, and communism is bad. Every time someone tries to go about it, a lot of people die. It's just a matter of fact in history. You know, and then when there's too much authoritarianism, we got too much fascism. It's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing, right? Every single time. And it's really tiring to examine history and to see these things happen over and over and over again. And you're watching it happen right in front of you. And it doesn't even matter what source of media you're seeing it through. It's because, you know, the internet is immediate and everything else afterwards is 2 or 3 days behind, whatever it is. What more is there to say? You know, I didn't set out to be a criminal. I didn't set out to be in the underground, so to speak. But here I am anyways. You know, we're going to call it the underground network, because that's what it is now. Not just the railroad. It's not just relocating people from one place to the next. You know, it's worldwide manipulation by people that don't want to work or don't have the talents or capacity to work. They don't have the drive. They just have the need for dominance and for exploitation, and they've become evil through years of abuse of themselves and of others, and they don't know how to stop. So there's only two solutions. You either put them in a labor camp or you kill them. And I'd rather not do either of those. And, you know, since I'm putting this up on video, you know, again, I do feel the desire to kill people. I do. Let's be honest with ourselves. Everybody has that desire. You got to understand that. You know, when I say I want to kill them, you know, like the anger and violence is part of humanity. So if anyone's going to come at me for that, especially the RCMP, the OPP, or the London Police Services, I'm not interested in actually harming anybody. But I will express my desire to, because if we don't, then we bottle up inside. Anger is a poison. Anger is a poison. There's many other ways to poison oneself. And, you know, through the propaganda, we've come to this point where nobody feels alive anymore. No one has a sense or semblance of purpose. And the subjectivity, wishy-washy bullshit has removed the central core of identity, even amongst military people whom, you know, again, in previous videos, experienced this with unification in Canada in the 1960s, and all the traditions and all of the more individual aspects of each branch of service was removed in favor of uniformity, which is completely, you know, it was a tragedy. And so hence why so many of those traditions were restored to each branch. And this is what happens when we try to remove and try to conform. We try to mold and we try to, you know, make drones. You can't make drones out of humans, because we're not. Well, I would say a lot of us are not human anymore. I'd say a lot of us are pre-programmed and destined for failure. And hence why I feel like a failure, because I'm subjected to this propaganda and this overstimulation at the same time that you are by watching this. And I had dreams, I still do, and I still believe I can achieve them. I just don't want to suffer in a world that treats me like shit. And in a world where women treat me like shit. And where gay people take advantage of me. You see. Or that minorities or immigrants take advantage of the system and, you know, treat my world, my country, like a garbage dump, frankly, you know, or where the homeless don't have any other option except to kill themselves in the forest, or to kill each other and eat each other for survival. I don't want to be part of that world. I get tired of yelling. I get tired of screaming. I get tired of shouting, because there's better things to do. But we can't move on, and I won't stop fighting this until it's over. And neither should you, because we're never too old for this.